Hello everyone, I'm Shira Lazar from What's Trending, and welcome to a very special Google Plus Hangout with Jackson Rathbone. Yeah! We are coming to you live from Hollywood, and we have a bunch of amazing fans here to join this hangout. We're, of course, talking about Jackson's web series, Aim High. You can find it at youtube.com/BeyondTheLot. Subscribe because there are new episodes every Tuesday. And this hangout is all about you. We want to hear from you. You can tweet us out what's trending. You can also join the hangout and ask questions there. This is all about you, and we have a ton of fans who have questions today. First off, I'm going to start off with you, Jackson. How's it going?
It's good. Very well,
yeah.
Thank you. It's my first day off in like a week and a half or so.
Well, we're happy that you could be doing this on your day off.
Yeah, cheers.
So, Aim High series, this is a really exciting series that you're doing that's now on YouTube. Tell us why it was important for you to do a series like this and what's exciting to you about this specific project.
Well, I think it was about 2 years ago now, Wonderland Entertainment, Wonderland Sound and Vision, which is McGee's company, came to me, and you know, they knew I was looking for projects to produce, and I'm really interested in social media and how entertainment is now being brought more towards the internet and everything. So they said they had this great web series. They gave me the script for Aim High, and I read it and I loved it, fell in love with it. So we, partnered with Warner Brothers and a couple other production companies. We all put together a lot of effort to make the first season come through, and now, we've been putting a lot of effort in terms of trying to get it out globally. So finally, we're here with partnering with YouTube and getting the first season of Aim High out for everyone to see, and then we're about to launch the second season. So we're really excited about that.
So exciting! So tell people a bit more about what Aim High is all about.
Well, Aim High is a story sitting around Nick Green, who I play, and Nick is a high school kid who also moonlights as a government for the U.S. as a government operative. So he's kind of like one part Ferris Bueller, one part Jason Bourne. So he's trying to navigate high school life while at the same time being an assassin for the U.S. government. So it's a little funny, it's got some comedy, got some action, and it was a lot of fun. When I read the script, I fell in love with the idea. And I think the second season is it's even bigger, it's even better, and it's longer, and a lot more action.
I can't believe you still play a high schooler. It's incredible.
Yeah, the cliche.
I wish I could play a high schooler forever. Eternally youthful, right?
Eternal youth. I fell into that fountain. I was just throwing the, wishing coins.
So we're going to go to some of the fans that we have here. We're going to start off with the amazing Hillywood Sisters, who some of you watching, well, a lot of you watching might know from their incredible Twilight parodies and videos, and they're here to ask you some questions that I know you guys have met in the past.
Yes.
So welcome, ladies. What question do you have for Jackson today?
We actually took some questions from the Hillywood fans online, and they wrote us a ton, and so we are going to try to look and pick real quick because we wrote them down. So once you find one, go ahead.
All right. Well, we have one from Rachel, and she wanted to know, what advice, Jackson, would you give to aspiring filmmakers or actors to follow their dreams?
Well, I think the first step is knowing what you want to do, and I think that's right there. If you have aspirations, if you have dreams and desires, then you should go forward with them at all costs. And it's passion. It's definitely passion. And the pursuit of that is just it's a joy. It can be. There's a lot of ups and downs, and never let yourself kind of fall into that pit of oh, I didn't get that job, or I didn't get this job. You just keep moving forward, and you just got to make something for yourself, because at the end of the day, entertainment has changed drastically. So you have the ability, you have the internet, you have Twitter, you have YouTube, and you can put yourself out there and just kind of keep pursuing it. When I was 18, I moved out to LA, and I didn't know anybody, and I actually moved out to be a songwriter for a friend of mine, and I kind of fell in with a wonderful management company. I got a lucky break, and I met someone that I really liked working with, and I just kept it up. I just hit the pavement every day.
Very nice. We have another question. Lamarr Wilson, who's also a great YouTube star and vlogger. Lamarr, what do you have to ask Jackson today?
Yes, I watched episodes 1 and 2. Love the series, I gotta tell you. The guy you played to me is like a mix of Jackie Chan, a little bit of Sean from Psych, and I really felt like when you did some of the zoom ins to see where you were gonna hurt the guy, it felt like it was Alphas, that show. And with the touch of 21 Jump Street, because you're a young guy as a detective. So I wondered, did any of these shows or people, or were they inspirational to making this show?
Definitely 21 Jump Street. That was a big inspiration. Kind of playing a kid that's having to navigate the halls of high school while having to also go out there and keep the world safe from terrorists. That was a lot of fun. Actually, I am a big fan of Alphas as well. That's a great show. I'm a huge X-Men fan, and so that's kind of like it's kind of like an X-Men ripoff right there. I didn't say that, did I?
No.
Well, this is an honest chat. I mean, this is what Google Hangouts are all about. Just getting into the realness of what we're all doing here. What was it like working with Mick G, by the way?
Mick G's fantastic. He's just got this. He's got this really wonderful energy that he brings to all of his projects. It's a passion, and he's just like he's a dude's dude. He's a guy you want to have a beer with. And so, especially with somebody working with somebody at that level, I do have dreams of directing myself someday, and I've always tried to work with directors that I admire, and I've had a lot of lucky breaks in my career working with people that I really respect, and getting to see their directing styles and their production styles and the way to put a production together. It's really interesting. And Mick G is a great guy, man. He's really cool. He's funny as hell, too.
Yeah. No, I also find him interesting as a director. He himself has built such a great brand online, and you having come from the Twilight series, I mean, you're working with such social projects, right, that so many people connect with online. How does that impact you as an actor?
Well, coming from the Twilight series, I was playing Jasper. I really wanted to bring the character from the book to life in a way that the fans of the book series would really appreciate the depiction of the character. So I studied Eclipse and his backstory, and then I went into Civil War history, and I kind of studied posturing and kind of the attitudes and the way that men behaved, especially men who served in the Civil War, and I wanted to really kind of showcase that this character was the newest of the Cullen family, and he's uncomfortable with that vegetarian diet, So when you first see Jasper, he's really kind of weird and kind of crazy. So I really wanted to bring that, that idea that he's a little odd, because he just wants to eat, man. He's hungry.
There you go. That's the look. But in terms of social media, like, how does all of this impact you and how you connect with fans? Because obviously that was so viral. And then, I mean, you're always on Twitter, it seems, and Facebook. So, and now this series is very interactive.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, God, it was about, I think, around New Moon is when I first set up my Twitter account, and I had no idea really what I was doing at first. It was a learning curve for me. I'm not really that techno savvy. I'm good with my hands, but my father was an engineer, so he taught me how to build. I started off before I was an actor. I was behind the scenes in theater, building sets and doing lighting design and sound design. So I'm really good with that aspect of it. And so when I got to computers, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. But it's the way of the future, and I wanted to get on the forefront of that. So now I try to tweet as much as I possibly can, just to kind of get that interaction and let my fans know that I respect them, and I really do respect them very much for their support, because as an actor, as an entertainer, that's what we thrive on, is the idea that we can entertain people, and it's such a beautiful thing to be a part of a story, or to be part of something that lets people escape their daily lives for for an hour and a half in a film, or even 3 minutes with a song. Just let them into a world that's something different.
Yeah, and for everyone watching now, I want to remind you we are doing a live Google Plus Hangout with Jackson Rathbone, and we were talking about his new web series, Aim High, on youtube.com/Beyond the Lots. Go subscribe there. They have new episodes of Aim High every Tuesday. And we are joined by a bunch of great YouTubers and fans to ask some questions. We're going to go right now to Maria. What question do you have for Jackson?
Hi, I was wondering, did you do your own stunts, and what were most memorable for you?
I did a lot of my own stunts. I was lucky enough to get trained by these really cool guys from Real Kicks. It's a stunt company. Chris Brewster and Holland Diaz years ago when I was doing The Last Airbender, and that training went into Eclipse and a lot of the Twilight films as well. And so I've been trying to bring Holland, who's a great stunt double, along with me for a lot of my work. And I work with him a lot in terms of trying to get the fights right and trying to do as much as I possibly can. So a good majority of the fights you'll see me do, but there's certain things that I can't do a double backflip, twist and land on my feet unless you throw me, and then I'm not going to land on my feet. So Holland will step in and do all those really badass stunts, and he's a wonderful guy, and I really respect the stunt community, because what they can do behind the scenes is incredible. That's what makes the movies like X-Men and like we talked about earlier, like Alphas, that's what makes those shows incredible, and that's what we try to bring to Aim High, is that sense of danger and that sense of power. A lot of those hits that you see, like in the first season of Aim High, Nick gets thrown on top of a car. Oh, yeah. That was Holland. That was my stunt double, and man, that was real. He actually got like slammed into that car, and there's a huge dent in it afterwards. That was made with his body, and then we cut, and then I jump into like the dent of the car, and I go. So, but a lot of the hand-to-hand stuff, it is me for the most part. Yeah.
What was the difference for you working on something we call a web series versus a huge movie or a TV show?
Well, we got very lucky with our web series. We did have funding from Warner Brothers, and so it was like working on a television series. We have the production quality of a TV series you would see on any network, and but it was also asking a lot of people to work for free. And but working on that as opposed to as opposed to like $40-50 million movie like the first Twilight, or like $100 to $200 million movie like Last Airbender. There's a lot of differences. I mean, in terms of just even just the amount of background that you can have, the amount of extras. Like on Last Airbender, we would have sometimes like 300 extras, just in one scene, and on Aim High, we were lucky to get 15 or 20.
So true.
So it's definitely making the most of what you have, and also moving much quicker. A lot of scenes in Aim High, we were only able to get 2 or 3 takes, whereas something like Last Airbender, we were doing 30 takes a scene. So it's moving very fast. We would shoot about 10 pages a day, which is a lot. It's kind of just moving quick. Whereas on a big budget film, sometimes you shoot 3 pages a day. So,
welcome to the web, Jackson.
Yeah, thank you.
This is actually better.
And Jessica,
it's actually something I really enjoy, is moving quicker. Is kind of finding a flow and just kind of keep moving. That's why, as an actor, I started pursuing production, because I would get bored, just between lighting setups. You film for like 10 minutes, and then you cut, and then you get 30 minutes of turnaround, and then you get to do your scene again, and you act, and then it's another hour and a half of turnaround. So what I used to do is I would teach myself banjo or ukulele or something in my trailer, and then after I ran out of instruments to learn, I was like, okay, I gotta figure something else out. So that's why I started producing. And Girlfriend was an independent film that I made with a good friend of mine, Jared Anderson, and we produced that movie on a just a shoestring budget. And it was fun. It was just, like much more intense. It's always being involved with every single shot, and that's something I tried to bring to the first season of Aim High. Is I would sit down with Tor Freudenthal, our director, and we would talk about the shot list between shots and how to really minimize how many shots we were doing in order to save time in the day.
Right.
That's really interesting, and I'm sure it's interesting as an actor that you had that insight, because typically, actors, you just tell them what to do and what scene, but the fact that you were able to bring that creativity into it is really cool.
It's nice. Years ago, when I was like 16, 17, I did a lot of photography, so I'm very familiar with framing and how to make a frame look beautiful and full. I took all my friends' headshots back in high school when they were auditioning for college. So I love the idea of photography, and I think the term moving pictures is really what it should be all about. You should see a photograph that that actors are allowed to dance around and to do our craft in the middle of that. So like with the web series, with the film, it's all about collaboration. There's on a big budget movie you have thousands of artists. On the web series sometimes you only have like a handful, but it's all those facets, it's all those pieces working together, and without one of them working correctly, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't work.
Definitely. We're going to go to Jessica right now, who is all the way in Belgium.
Whoa.
Yeah, we have international fans here. Jessica, what do you have to ask Jackson?
Hi, Jackson. First off, I'm just so happy to hear that you're a huge X-Men fan, because I've been a huge X-Men fan since I was like 9 years old, and I'm very into Rogue and Gambit. So
hey, me
really
too.
Cool.
Me too.
Yeah. And also, I'm a photographer, so that's also really good to hear that you like them. My question for you would be, I was surprised at the second episode of Aim High. There was a lot of sexual, funny jokes in there. And I know personally you're quite Southern about your personal life.
Yeah.
So was it uncomfortable for you to be so open on this series?
Yeah. I was raised very Southern. My parents are both born and raised out of Louisiana, and they raised us with that mentality. And I also grew up with sisters. I have no brothers, so my dad taught me, and it's something that I still hold true, is you want to treat a woman the way that you would want someone to treat your sister. So that's something that I always really kind of took with me and held with me, is that sense of respect, and it's weird, as an actor, you're playing a character, and sometimes you got to be like when I played in Girlfriend, I was playing a bipolar drunk, so I was kind of the biggest a-hole you'd ever meet in that movie. And so it's really weird, but as an actor, I really like to step into extremes in terms of character, and sometimes you just got to do what the script tells you to do, and it makes you a little uncomfortable, and after they call cut, you run over and you're like, I'm really sorry about that. It's like, I'm just doing what the script told me to do, I promise. But yeah, sexual innuendo definitely is kind of weird for me to play. Yeah, that's why I stayed away from a lot of sex scenes in films and characters like that. I've turned down a lot of movies and projects where there was fairly graphic, and I try to go to stories that are more PG-13 in a lot of ways.
Yeah, Aim High is definitely rated. It is for everyone online. It's general, so it's more fun and comedic in terms of the jokes that you make, I find.
Yeah, there's a full funnel.
Anyone could watch it, don't worry. Once again, for all of you watching, we are bringing you a live exclusive interview with Jackson Rathbone, who is starring in Aim High, which is on youtube.com/BeyondTheLot. They have new episodes every Tuesday. Season 1 is happening right now. We are in the thick of it. Season 2 hopefully to come, but we're not saying anything. And we have fans from all around the world joining. And I'm going to go back to the Hillywood Sisters for another question.
Yes, we have one from Kathy. And Kathy would like to know, Jackson, 10 years from now, where do you see yourself?
Oh,
that's a good question. I'm really developing my production company. I have a couple scripts in development right now. I have bids out to scripts written by other writers, and I really want to develop stories of love and fear, the duality of nature that we all experience in our daily lives, and really kind of amp those up into something that's a format that we can enjoy. And I definitely see myself directing. I've been taking scripts from all over Hollywood and New York, and I've been sourcing them everywhere to try and find the script that I really love, and something that I can direct myself and put a lot of time into, because it's a huge undertaking, and it's something that I've held back on. I've been saying I want to direct for a long time, but I haven't found the right project, something that I can really see myself putting out there into the world. And I try to only pick projects that I would want, the people who supported me in my career, the wonderful fans, and my mom. I really want to pick projects that they would appreciate and that they would enjoy. So in 10 years, I definitely see, hopefully, you'll see a couple films under my belt as a director, and I think that's where I'll be. I'll still be making music. I'll still be acting. And I really, one day, it's a dream, but I think, I'm going to try and do like a musical or something, like in a film, I think that would be really fun. I grew up on musicals as a kid, so.
Go for it.
Yeah, why not? You have to be in one of the Hillywood Sisters videos. You're very musical.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go to Maria, who I know had, speaking of music, a question about music, right, Maria?
Yeah, I love your music. I haven't been listening to anything but like Billy Badass and Indian Drum since they came out. That's all I've been listening to. And your music's like really different and weird. And I was just wondering, like, what inspires you when you write that? Really cool lyrics and stuff.
Oh, thank you very much. I like to tell stories. One of my aunts is a psychologist, and she and I talk a lot about how stories really affect people and how stories move people. And if you go back to how we used to communicate before the printing press, before there were pages, and before people even had the quill and ink, before they were putting pen to paper, people would just tell each other stories around a campfire. Or would gather around. Grandpa would sit down and tell them a story, and I think that's what really moves people. So within my lyrics, I like to really develop a story and a character. With Billy Badass, I'm telling a story of a young Amish kid who goes off on Rumspringa, and Rumspringa is an Amish tradition where about 16 years old they go off and they're allowed to experience the world and electricity and technology, but they have to go back, or else they'll be shunned the rest of their life. And so it's Billy Badass' story of, do you go back, or do you live in the modern world? And so that's something I was really interested in. And with Indian Drum, I'm telling the story of basically a character who's kind of breaking off and starting anew. And so I wanted to use a lot of metaphor from, the origins of our country in a lot of ways.
Very interesting. You're very thoughtful, Jackson. We're enjoying it. I want to go back to your character, Nick, and Aim High. And what were you like in high school?
Me in high school, oh God.
Please do share.
Oh well, I was, I was a weird combination of a social misfit and a wallflower. I really liked, flirting between different groups of people, because I love people. I love people watching. I moved around my entire life, and so I did 2 years of high school in Texas, and then 2 years of high school in Michigan, and I was always really into art, and when I was in Texas, I quit football to go into theater, and that was a big deal in Texas, to leave football to go to theater.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, hey.
And this is before Glee. Glee wasn't around, so.
Yeah, this is way before Glee. But, and it was interesting. So for me, I was all about, kind of finding my own path, and I never was worried about fitting in. I was never worried about, being part of the cool crowd or the in crowd because I was always having fun on my own. I was ever since I was a little kid, I found a lot of amusement and joy in the libraries. And then when I was like 13, I fell in love with guitar and being on stage. So for me as a high schooler, I don't know. I guess I was like Nick Green in a lot of ways, where I was kind of awkward, but I had a really interesting nightlife.
Very interesting. We're going to go, Lamarr, back to you for another question.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, in the web series, one quote that I love that you say is, "Killing is easy, high school is hard." I just thought that was hilarious, and I just wanted to share that. I don't know what that inspiration was from.
Thank you, Lamarr.
Yeah, just going on that.
What was it like working with Aimee Teegarden?
Oh, Aimee Teegarden's an absolute sweetheart. You know, she's just one of those girls you meet. You're just like, well, she's just got this the thing about her that makes her just extremely likable and extremely sweet. And it's it's just who she is. And she was kind of playing that kind of punk girl, which is a little against type, but she just had this really wonderful perspective, and she's just such a sweetheart. So it was really easy for me as Nick Green to play like in love with her. So she's just great. Another question from Jessica.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, you've grown in popularity since Twilight, obviously, and I'm wondering, you probably have a lot of crazy fans out there, a lot of girls, a lot of females, and what is the best way to approach you on the street or on your work and not be, I guess.
The best way to approach me on the street?
Yeah.
He has
what time of
a
night is it?
It's 3 in the morning at your doorstep. No, I'm joking.
no, we don't want any stalkers here.
Yeah, no, but I mean, as far as crazy fans, how many? Your popularity has grown immensely since Twilight. So, how do you get it? What reactions do you get from people now? It must be so weird.
It's definitely interesting, being recognized, because I feel like throughout my career I've always been much more of a character actor, and with Twilight I really tried to be as different and really play the character as opposed to bring much of myself to the character. So it's weird when people recognize me. I'm like, how do you recognize me? I don't look anything like Jasper. I don't know. And they always say it's the eyes. I guess I have crazy eyes.
It comes very easily to you, the crazy eyes. What's up with that?
I don't know. I guess I'm a little crazy.
We actually got a few questions from TL Prooks and Katie Loves Evan T about life with the baby. Katie Loves Evan T asks, Jackson, what has been the hardest and or most rewarding part about being a new father?
Wow. It's hard for me to say like the hardest part because it's just been such a wonderful experience for me. We're really lucky because Monroe is just such a great baby that other new parents are always jealous of us because we get to sleep at night. He sleeps through the night, and he's so wonderful. My little sister would hate me for saying this, but when she was a little baby, I changed her diapers quite a bit. So it wasn't exactly new to me to get to do that. But I think the most rewarding part is now that he's laughing all the time, and he's such a smiley little man. And earlier this morning we were playing, and I lay down on my back and I sit him on my chest like this, and then I kind of like dip him in and then dip him back out, and I go, "Whoa, King Baby," and then he comes back, and then I just messed around with him, and he just laughs and he smiles, and it's just to have a little baby's laughter is the cutest thing. He's like,
It is very cute. It is very cute.
It's adorable, absolutely.
We're going to go to one last question from the Hillywood Sisters.
Hello. Yes. Okay, this one comes from Laura, and she wants to know, Jackson, if you could be in any Broadway or West End, what would it be?
Kind of ties into what we just talked about a while ago.
I finally saw the Book of Mormon on the last day that it was here in Los Angeles, and I think I'm in love with that musical. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's hilarious. Matt Stone and Trey Parker have been two of my favorite writers for a long time. South Park, Team America. They have this certain satirical wit sardonic sensibility that I really enjoy, and you know, you don't find in a lot of writing. So I think that might be the one.
Cool.
Do you have any favorite things that you like watching on YouTube? Any other shows or anything you're a fan of?
Man, on YouTube, every once in a while, man, it's that weird thing that I do. I don't know, but I look at cat videos. Oh, like look at that little kitten fall down the stairs. It's adorable. But I don't know. It's interesting to me. I oftentimes, you know, will find myself just like late at night. I think my guiltiest pleasure is insomnia. I don't like going to sleep because there's only 24 hours in a day, so I like to spend as much time as I can, you know, awake. So sometimes I'll just be online and I'll look up comedians' videos or. But one of my favorite YouTube videos was Dr. Horrible's Sing Song Along.
Oh yeah, that was one of the most famous web series with Felicia Day and obviously
Nate Fillion and who was it? Neil Patrick Harris is hilarious, and then that's one of my absolute favorites, and so that's one of the reasons I wanted to sign up for Aim High is to, you know, get across something that's like unique and different and interesting.
Definitely. How do you think that YouTube and social media is changing the face of entertainment today?
How do I feel like this? I think it's making entertainment much more accessible, and it's also you know, it's creating many more outlets for people to express themselves, and I think art exists in all facets of life. It's something. Art intrinsically is about what you're passionate about and how you put that passion out into the world, and I think it's really important to understand that it's not about, you know, having the greatest painting out there. It's about, you know, putting your love in your heart and your soul into what you do. So with YouTube and with social media, it's a connectivity between artist and audience that wasn't there 10 years ago. Finally, people can really, you know, say what they want. You know, have a freedom of expression that is really poignant and interesting and new and unique. And I think that's what people are drawn to on the internet. You know, I think I'm a fervent, you know, diehard believer in the freedom of speech, and I think with YouTube, there's that ability to you know, have the freedom to express yourself.
So lastly, one of our last questions, which kind of ties this all together, Line Lamb Quotes asks, how much of your other characters that you've played, like Nicholas Fisk or Jasper, do you bring into Nick Green on Aim High?
Nicholas Fisk, wow, that's a blast from the past right there.
This is the diehard fans we have watching this hangout.
Wow. I try to make every character as different as possible. I'd say, you know, there's no Nick Fisk. He's not in there at all. Jasper, not so much either, except for maybe the certain sensibilities of the fighting prowess. With Nick Green, I really try to bring this character that's on the outskirts of society. It's something, I guess that's the closest tie-in to Jasper would be that, you know, he's sort of a pariah. You know, he's an outcast. He's a misfit, and I think everyone in life feels like that. You know, regardless if you're the popular kid in school, there's a certain sensibility of, well, do people really understand me? Do people really get who I am? And you know, and if you're, you know, the outcast, or you're the goth kid or the punk kid like I was, or like if you're that like different sensibility, that person who enjoys different things than most people, you feel left out in a lot of ways. And that's what I like about social media, is you can connect to people. That's what I really loved about the Twilight series, is that people were brought all around the world. They became friends, and through message boards or fan fiction, they were allowed to express themselves and not feel ashamed about it, and not feel alone. And so with Nick Green, I really try to, you know, have this character who feels alone, and then he finally has a friend who we can confide in Marcus. and finally he's not alone anymore. And with the second season of Aim High, we introduce another character played by Natalie Dreyfus, and it's another spy. And so it adds more to this ability to not be alone and to feel connected to a group.
Well, Jackson, thank you so much for taking your time today to do this. Happy holidays. Do you have any big plans?
I do. Well, the biggest plans for me is, taking some R&R and going back to Texas and seeing my family, seeing my nephew, my sisters, my parents. And we're going to spend, the Christmas holidays together. And, with Sheila and Monroe and, just having a wonderful time, just family.
So nice. So we appreciate you taking your free time to do this today. I want to thank Maria, the Hillywood Sisters, Jessica, Lamarr Wilson, all of you watching right now for joining on this Sunday. I want to remind all of you, Aim High Season 1, it was released on Facebook 2011 for the U.S. audience, but now it is available for the international audience, everyone in the world, on YouTube.
Finally. We've been fighting for this for a long time. Trust
Beyond
me.
the Lot. Yeah, this is so exciting because you have so many fans, and I think this will open it up to even more people in the U.S. audience who didn't see it, because YouTube is a platform for so many people and where everyone's searching and watching video. So I just want to let people know the trailer, episode 1 and 2, and a bonus video called Meet Nick Green are now live. You will continue to see a new episode every Tuesday on youtube.com/beyondthelot, so subscribe to be the first to see those. Aim High is also on DVD, so you can check out Aim High Season 1. It was recently released. Season 2, it's going to be, maybe coming out. We can't reveal too much, but stay tuned in 2013 for updates. Follow Jackson on Twitter. I'm sure he will be one of the first ones to announce that, at Jackson Rathbone. And, of course, like the Aim High Facebook page. I'm Shira Lazar from What's Trending. It's been a blast. Thank you, guys.